So he won't debate. But he and his running mate sure seem to have a lot to say about me. And by the way, don't you find some of their stuff to just be plain weird? Well, Donald, I do hope you'll reconsider to meet me on the debate stage. Because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say,
the debate before the debate is whether microphones should be muted when it's the other candidate's turn to speak. That rule was in place during the Biden-Trump debate in June, and we all know how that worked out for the current president. Now Harris's team is demanding the mic stay hot.
That is absolutely our preference on this campaign, to have live microphones so that the American people can see both candidates for who they are and hear everything that comes out of their mouths.
At a campaign stop in Virginia Monday, Trump admitted he doesn't care if his mic is muted or not. But he doesn't like that Harris's camp is trying to change rules they already agreed to.
Now all of a sudden they want to make a change in the rules because she can't answer questions. We can't have another dummy as a president, okay?
Several networks invited Trump and Harris to debate on their air. The former president accepted multiple offers, but the vice president has only agreed to a debate on ABC so far.
In my book, there should be 3 presidential debates, not one. If voters are not informed, then it's not a democracy with real votes.
That speech from VP Harris was done around the end of July. Now, I wonder what's happened between then and now for her to change her mind suddenly, because she seemed incredibly confident that she wanted Donald Trump to say whatever it was that he's saying to her face. But when given the opportunity to do it, her camp suddenly changes its mind and wants to have the rules changed. To top it off, Trump isn't backing down from any networks, whether they're friendly or unfriendly towards him. And yet the vice president who's mocking Trump and calling him a coward is only saying yes to ABC News, an obviously left-leaning news outlet. Now guys, at this point, who do you think is weird? And if the optics of this wasn't bad enough, ABC News has more bad news for the vice president. Her last-minute ditch effort to try and change the rules have been rejected, so they won't be seated in this debate. The mics won't be hot, and she won't have her strong black woman moment where she goes, "Excuse me, Mr. Trump, I am speaking." And guys, before we get started, all I ask is that you take a second, hit the like button for the video. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, and thank you for sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter.
Vice President Harris has been off the trail since her acceptance speech last Thursday. Sources tell NBC News she's held at least one mock debate.
We've got 75 days to go, so maybe for better and for worse, that's the way I am. Like, that was good, now we gotta move on.
All of it as former President Trump was in battleground Michigan, looking to step on any Harris post-convention bounce. Campaign sources tell NBC News he's planning more aggressive fall travel. And while polls show voters give Harris the advantage on health care and abortion rights, Trump aiming to hammer Harris on 2 issues where they show she's vulnerable: the economy and the border.
Under Kamala Harris, American veterans are treated worse by far than illegal aliens. Illegal aliens are treated. You ever see them? They stay in hotels. We have veterans sleeping on the street.
And her team won't be able to provide her with a cheat sheet that has all the answers to the questions ahead of time, because we all know that this debate will be rigged in favor for her. But ABC News can't run the risk of appearing extremely biased by giving away to her demands. Now, they will be allowed to have a pen and paper together with a water bottle. Both presidential candidates will be standing up, and there's not going to be any audience present. This has analysts and officials working for Trump saying that Kamala Harris is the one that's running scared here.
Look, Donald Trump is a big game player. This guy rises to the occasion every single time. I remember in the 2016 campaign, the first time he ever stepped on the debate stage with all of those Republicans on there. He'd never debated, and he won the debate in overwhelming fashion. And then when he had to debate Hillary Clinton, again, had never done a one-on-one debate against someone who the media told us was the most qualified candidate to ever run for presidency. And so he beat her in those debates. And then what do we see from a man who had to debate someone who's been in elective office for half a decade, half a century, 50 plus years? He destroyed Joe Biden. And only because of Donald Trump's successful debate performance did the American people finally see the cognitive decline that most of the White House press corps has been lying to us about for the last 4 years. Kamala Harris has clearly been lying about it. So I am so confident of his success going into this debate in early September that, as you know, the Kamala Harris campaign wanted to be able to sit down so she could be on equal footing. She didn't want to have to stand at the podium. It is true. She said, I want to bring notes. She said, we want to have live microphones all the time. The truth is, when we negotiated on behalf of the Trump campaign, we negotiated with the Biden-Harris campaign. And these are the same criteria that she had agreed to for the vice presidential debate. She wanted to change that because she's got confidence in her abilities.
Now, at this point, guys, who do you believe is dodging this debate? Because we're hearing mainstream media paint Donald Trump as a coward. They're saying that he's running scared and that he should agree to these new terms. And that's exactly what MSNBC is telling us.
I know there's a debate inside Republican circles about whether a debate's a good idea for Donald Trump. It's not that, in theory, generic Republican nominee would want to debate the generic Democratic nominee for president, and in theory that should be good for them. But considering the former president's past, his sometimes inability to bite his tongue and things like that, there's a lot of folks who think this debate could just be a disaster for him, that he won't know how to handle the moment. And so that all of this, what we're seeing today, is really creating exit ramps so they can get out of the debate with minimal political impact, from people saying they're ducking or whatever. I think it's still 50-50 whether we see any debates.
Really?
Ultimately, do I think Trump will want to debate and will overrule anybody who thinks it's a bad idea? I do. So we'll probably get one, but my guess is just one. I'd love to see three, but I think that's not where we're headed.
Do any of you guys believe that these liberal media outlets are in favor of having these debates? And how is Trump ducking if he's already agreed to the initial terms of ABC News? And as far as you and I are aware of, it's the vice president's side that's trying to change things up at the last second. It's kind of hard to wrap my head around what these news outlets sometimes tell us because the truth is right here. And this format for the debate will favor Trump for sure because it's going to give him time to stay on his message and avoid speaking more than necessary. It will also show the weakness of Kamala Harris as she's definitely not prepared after more than a month of dodging any media questions. Now, some analysts believe that Donald Trump's initial disagreement to debating Harris was a trap, that his camp wanted her to capitalize on the notion that they were backing off of a debate against her. So this led to her touting that he's afraid and all that. The issue for them is that he's on board and he's already signed off on the same terms that he had with President Biden. So this could be Trump playing chess as Harris is stuck on checkers, which could lead to a huge turning point for both of their presidential campaigns. Another factor that could ultimately derail the presidential hopes of Vice President Kamala Harris. Guys, make sure you guys check that video out next, as it could very well be the sign that her campaign is officially over. As always, appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. I'll see you on the next one.